guys, and welcome back to the Watch Addict channel. Today we are talking about the Tudor Black Bay 41mm versus the Rolex Submariner 114060. Both of these watches do not have a date. They look pretty similar in terms of the dial configuration and the very symmetrical dials. Now the watch on the left, the Tudor Black Bay 41mm, was released this year at Baselworld after the 36mm came out a while before that. Now, some basic stuff on these watches that you might not know. The Tudor 41 Black Bay on the left side of the screen is in a 41mm case. It retails for about $2,950, which is a few $100s more than the 36mm version. It does have 150 meters of water resistance. It does have a screw-down crown, a sapphire crystal. It also does have the Tudor rose on the crown, which is really nice. It is using an ETA 2824 caliber movement, which is a self-winding mechanical automatic movement, which is the same movement in the previous version of the 36mm. Now the Rolex Submariner is in a 40mm case with a 12.5-inch thickness. It's using a Rolex in-house 3130 automatic movement with a parachrome hairspring. It does have a 48-hour power reserve compared to the 38 power reserve of the Tudor Black Bay. Also does have 300 meters of water resistance compared to 150 meters of the Tudor Black Bay. It does have a rotating ceramic bezel and a glide lock on the clasp, screw-down crown, and sapphire crystal, of course. Well, which one is better? I mean, which one are you getting more for your money? That's the topic of the conversation today. Well, in my opinion, we have to take a look at some of the specifications and the price points. The Rolex Submariner sells for $7,500, and the Tudor 41 Black Bay sells for $2,950 on the bracelet option. And you also do get another strap included as well. So we're looking at double the price plus $1,500 more. Well, are you really getting double the watch? Plus a little more? Well, you know, the main things here are in terms of what's used to make the watch, what's inside the watch, and how functional is the watch in daily use. Now, we do have an ETA 2824 movement in the Tudor Black Bay, which really cannot compete in terms of movement with the Rolex 3130 movement, which has a special parachrome anti-magnetic hairspring. So in terms of that, the Rolex Submariner would definitely win, and it's definitely a more accurate and precise movement than the ETA 2824. Now the ETA 2824, they usually run about, I would say, 5 seconds plus a day, while the Rolex in-house movements, if your watch is in good condition and there's nothing wrong with your movement, you're looking at 1 to 2 seconds a day. So that's almost half, which is the same as the price point. Now they both have screw-down crowns, which is great, so you can definitely go swimming with either of them. Now the power reserve, you're going to have a difference in the power reserve because of the movement. Your 2824 ETA movement on the Tudor Black Bay is only going to have 38 hours of power reserve compared to the 48 hours of power reserve on the in-house Rolex movement. So you're getting an extra 10 hours of power reserve, which is a pretty long time. Now you're also getting 150 meters of tested water resistance on the Tudor, while on the Rolex, which is a true diving watch, the Tudor more so not a diving watch at all, more of a casual dress watch, I would say, you're only getting 150 meters compared to the 300. So that's double as well. If you're not seeing this, most things are double, and the price is double as well, which is very interesting. Both have sapphire crystals, both have screw-down crowns. The Rolex is made of 904L stainless steel, while the Tudor is made of 316L stainless steel. And obviously the 904L stainless steel is much higher quality than the 316L. They are both great steels to work with in terms of making watches, but 904L is a little bit better. Now also, both of them have sapphire crystals, as I said, and the Black Bay is 1 millimeter bigger, which should not really make a difference because the Rolex has those beefier lugs on the ceramic version, the one pictured above you, so they probably equal out and look about the same on the wrist. Now, in my opinion, you're getting a lot more with the bracelet on the Rolex with the glide lock system. You're getting a better movement, you're getting a longer power reserve, a better water resistance, and that's an obvious because it's a professional diving watch. But the Tudor Black Bay, I would say it's a step to take before getting a Rolex Submariner. They both have the same symmetrical dials. Swap the Mercedes hand for the famous Tudor hand, the snowflake hand, and they're relatively the same design. The Rolex crown obviously looks a little different. It's a bit smaller. It's a bit more diving-like, while the Tudor is a bit more dressy-like and casual. But I think the Tudor Black Bay 41 is great value for money. And at $29.50, I mean, you can probably find it gray market when it finally, floods the market for about $2,500. And you're getting a watch from Tudor, which is owned by Rolex. So essentially, they're under the same roof in a way. Although Rolex does use the higher quality parts. So I think you're safe either way. If you can't afford a Rolex Submariner at $7,500, I would say it's a great option to get a Tudor Black Bay 41 at $29.50. I think it's a great watch, and I think this watch has potential in the future to actually increase in value as they stop making them. Now the Rolex Submariner, they will never stop making them, and I really don't think there's much potential to increase in value unless the retail price goes up on Rolex, which it usually does every few years or so. But I see these little Tudors as becoming, kind of popular in the future as they hit the vintage market, maybe 20 to 30 years, even more from now. So I wouldn't bet on that. But anyway, yeah, I think both of them are great buys if you have the money for either of them. They both have that great symmetrical dial. They're both great designs. The Tudor is a bit cleaner because we have the smooth polished bezel instead of the diving bezel, but what can you do? The Rolex is a professional diving watch, as I stated. So yeah, in conclusion, I think they're both great watches, and I really love the Tudor Black Bay 41 for its price point. Now, the Rolex Submariner will always be a classic watch, and that's never going away. Even if the Swiss market completely dies off, the Rolex Submariner will always be a popular watch. And yeah, I think they're both great watches for your money. If you can't afford the Submariner, I would say go for a Tudor Black Bay. If you like the other Black Bays with the diving bezels, I'd say go for one of those too. But today we're talking about the Black Bay 41, so yeah, I would definitely go for it. I think it's an amazing looking watch, and it's definitely bigger than the 36mm version, which looks a bit small. I have tried both of them on my wrist, and the 36 is quite small. So this is the Watch Addict, and this is my video for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned, subscribe, like, share, tell your friends, and I'll catch you on the next video, guys. Bye.